It was supposed to be a weekend of relaxation and fun, a getaway from the stresses of everyday life. My friends and I had rented a cabin deep in the woods, eager to disconnect from the world and enjoy each other's company. Little did we know, our retreat would take a terrifying turn. As we settled into the cozy cabin, excitement filled the air. The fire crackled in the hearth, casting a warm glow over the rustic interior. We unpacked our bags, stocked the fridge with snacks and drinks, and eagerly planned our weekend activities. Everything seemed perfect until the arrival of our uninvited guest. It started subtly, a creak in the floorboards, a faint whisper in the wind. At first, we dismissed it as the normal sounds of an old cabin settling in the night. But as the evening wore on, the disturbances grew more pronounced. Objects seemed to move on their own, doors creaked open and shut, and an icy chill permeated the air. Nervous laughter filled the room, and we exchanged uneasy glances, trying to rationalize the strange occurrences. But deep down, we all knew something wasn't right. Our carefree weekend had taken a sinister turn, and an uninvited presence lingered in the shadows, refusing to leave. As the night wore on, the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. We tried to distract ourselves with games and music, but the feeling of being watched never faded. It was as if an unseen force was lurking just beyond our sight, waiting and watching. Then, things took a turn for the worse. One of my friends claimed to have seen a figure standing in the darkness outside the cabin, a shadowy silhouette with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce through the night. Another heard strange whispers echoing through the trees, their words too faint to discern, but filled with an undeniable sense of malice. Fear gripped us as we realized we were not alone. Whatever or whoever had joined our party was not of this world. Panic set in as we scrambled to find a way to protect ourselves from the unseen threat. But no matter what we did, the presence lingered, its malevolent energy growing stronger with each passing moment. It seemed to feed off our fear, reveling in the terror it inflicted upon us. In the end, we had no choice but to abandon our weekend retreat, fleeing the cabin in terror as the unseen guest continued to torment us. As we drove away, we vowed never to return to that cursed place, haunted by the memory of the uninvited presence that had turned our peaceful getaway into a nightmare.
It was meant to be a romantic escape, a chance for my partner and me to reconnect amidst the tranquil beauty of the countryside. We had chosen a secluded cabin nestled among rolling hills and dense forests, a place where time seemed to stand still and worries melted away. Little did we know, our idyllic retreat would soon take a dark and ominous turn. As we arrived at the cabin, the mist hung heavy in the air, casting an ethereal glow over the landscape. The scent of pine mingled with the damp earth, and the only sound was the distant cry of a lone bird. It was a scene straight out of a fairy tale, a perfect setting for a romantic getaway. We settled into the cozy cabin, lighting a fire in the hearth and snuggling up on the couch with mugs of hot cocoa. The warmth of the fire and the comfort of each other's company filled me with a sense of contentment, and for a moment, all was right with the world. But as the night wore on, a sense of unease began to creep over us. It started with a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a feeling of being watched, of something lurking just beyond the edge of our vision. I tried to brush it off as my imagination running wild, but the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing moment. Then, we saw it, a shadowy figure moving through the mist, its form barely discernible in the swirling fog. My partner gasped, their hand tightening around mine as we watched in horror. The figure seemed to glide effortlessly through the mist, its movements smooth and deliberate. Fear clenched at my heart as I realized we were not alone. There was something out there, something sinister and malevolent, lurking in the shadows. I wanted to run, to flee back to the safety of civilization, but a part of me was rooted to the spot, unable to tear my eyes away from the figure in the mist. As the shadow drew closer, its presence seemed to suffuse the cabin, filling the room with a palpable sense of dread. I could feel its gaze upon us, cold and unrelenting, as if it was studying us, assessing us. In a panic, we scrambled to barricade the doors and windows, but it was no use. The shadow slipped effortlessly through the cracks, its form expanding and contracting like a living thing. It was as if it were toying with us, playing with its prey before delivering the final blow. Hours passed in a blur of terror and uncertainty. We huddled together in the dim light of the cabin, whispering reassurances to each other as the shadow lurked outside, its presence a constant reminder of our vulnerability. Eventually, the first light of dawn began to filter through the mist, casting long shadows across the landscape. With a sense of relief, we watched as the shadow retreated, disappearing into the depths of the forest from whence it came. But the memory of that night will haunt us forever, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the edge of our perception. We may have escaped its grasp for now, but who knows when the shadow in the mist will return to claim us once again.
As an avid hiker, I relish the solitude and serenity of the wilderness. So, when I stumbled upon the Whispering Woods, an uncharted forest rumored to be haunted, I saw it as the ultimate challenge. Ignoring the warnings of locals, I embarked on my solo adventure, eager to explore the mysteries hidden within its depths. The woods greeted me with an eerie silence as I ventured deeper into its embrace. The towering trees seemed to lean in conspiratorially, their branches casting long, twisted shadows across the forest floor. I felt a sense of unease creep over me, but I pushed it aside, determined to conquer the wilderness. As I hiked deeper into the woods, the silence was broken by faint whispers, a soft, unintelligible murmur that seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves. At first, I dismissed it as a trick of the wind, but as the whispers grew louder and more persistent, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. With each step, the whispers seemed to follow, echoing through the trees and sending shivers down my spine. I quickened my pace, the hairs on the back of my neck prickling with unease. The forest felt alive, its secrets lurking just beyond reach. Suddenly, the whispers coalesced into a single, haunting voice, a voice that seemed to call my name from the depths of the woods. My heart pounded in my chest as I followed the sound, my instinct screaming at me to turn back. But curiosity drove me forward, leading me deeper into the heart of darkness. Eventually, the whispers led me to a clearing, a place bathed in an otherworldly glow, the air thick with an oppressive sense of foreboding. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like skeletal fingers. As I approached the tree, the whispers grew louder, swirling around me like a sinister chorus. Trembling, I reached out to touch the rough bark, and that's when I saw it, the chilling discovery that would haunt me forever. Embedded in the trunk of the tree were dozens of human bones, bleached white by time and weathered by the elements. Horror washed over me as I realized the truth. The whispers were the voices of the lost souls trapped within the forest, their restless spirits crying out for release. In that moment, I knew I had stumbled upon something beyond my comprehension, a darkness that lurked within the heart of the Whispering Woods. With a sense of dread, I turned and fled, the haunting whispers echoing in my ears long after I had escaped the forest's grasp. The Whispering Woods had claimed another victim, and I was lucky to have escaped with my life. But as I emerged from the darkness, I couldn't shake the feeling that the forest's secrets would continue to haunt me, a reminder of the chilling discovery that lurked within its depths.